that didn't catch yesterday. So breakthrough pain, what is it? It's an abrupt, short-lived and intense pain that breaks through the around-the-clock analgesia that controls the persistent pain. So we're talking about animals that have periods of flare, periods of pain that analgesic protocol, that pain relief protocol can't quite control. Something that I wanted you guys to take away from yesterday is that we really need to start thinking about osteoarthritis not just as a chronic pain condition, but as an acute on chronic symptomatic condition. Acute flares, these breakthroughs, are common. And just because your dog is on a baseline intervention, such as a non-steroidal, it doesn't mean that they're going to be shielded from these episodes. It is absolutely possible that they could be having episodes, being them short points during the day or being longer periods. We do know that there's not very much in the literature about dogs, so we do have to extrapolate quite a lot from humans. And areas that have been recognized as potential underlying areas of concern are incident. So these are trauma-associated acute flares or breakthroughs. Idiopathic, where we have no underlying cause known, and end-of-dose failure. So the pharmaceutical plan that animal is on isn't being maintained. It isn't sufficient, and it drops down and means that animal's pain state can break through that level. But Gwen's going to be able to talk about that much more. We wanted to really highlight that breakthrough pain isn't just due to musculoskeletal disease. It can occur in all forms of pain. So that can be organ-related disease. It can be neurological, neuropathic-related disease. Areas that we can really make a difference is going to be in owner compliance and also potentially disease progression. So that's a summary of yesterday. Today, we are going to be talking about avoidance of breakthrough pain, as well as actions that need to be taken in times of breakthrough pain. There you go. I'm going to stop talking. Over to Gwen. She can do everything now. So avoidance of breakthrough pain, the key player in this, you're already doing it. Anybody that's listening to this, you're educating yourself. And this is really, really important in that if you don't know it exists, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. But educating owners about the fact that breakthrough pain exists in the form of incidental, so trauma associated, that means exercise, impact activities, repetitive strain, recurrent, inappropriate impact forces on those vulnerable joints. Letting them know about end of dose plasma levels, so making them aware that that medication that dog's on might not maintain them. It isn't like Danger Mouse and the Shield of Steel. Just because they're on it doesn't mean it's going to be there consistently. Animals can break through that. And also to help owners identify these breakthroughs as well as identify progression. So I'm going to let Gwen have some talk time. And she's going to talk to us about pain and about the pathophysiology of pain, about the pain pathway, and about something that I think everybody should know about, which is central sensitization. So over to you, Gwen.
So we did mention it a little bit last night, didn't we? The difference between an injury, just getting an injury and the pain you suffer from an injury and then during the healing period, and something like osteoarthritis, is that you can develop what's called central sensitization, as Hannah says. So if you have a continuous painful stimulus or a focus of inflammation, like osteoarthritis, then that focus is effectively sending nerve signals from the joint where the pain is occurring or the inflammation is occurring up to the spinal cord, which is where the nerves sort of junction into the main highway. And then in the spinal cord, some funky things happen. So in a normal pain situation, if you have an acute injury, then to a certain degree, pain is suppressed by the spinal cord and ultimately levels up to the brainstem at the bottom of the brain. And that is a survival mechanism. So you've heard stories about people getting themselves out of emergency disaster situations despite having broken legs or horrendous injuries and then flopping afterwards with the pain and suffering the pain afterwards. So we have an incredible ability to suppress pain in order to survive. But those mechanisms don't work so well when we're talking about chronic pain. So we've got more of a sort of low-grade, insidious chronic pain rather than this very severe acute pain like you get in an injury. And this is constantly sending these signals up to the spinal cord, this main highway, and actually irritating the nerves in the spinal cord to the extent that they become hyper-excitable, hyper-irritable, and more likely to fire their signals up to the brain. And then if it carries on, so that's what we call that central sensitization. It amplifies the signal, the experience the animal